Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
In U.S. News Talk, a reader has a theory on why the Green parties lost seats in the EU elections. Are people just tired of being preached to? Have the antics of Just Stop Oil turned voters away from environmentalism? Are the policies of the Greens too doom and gloom? Additionally, one commenter breathes a sigh of relief in light of the far-right surge in the EU elections, saying they're glad Brexit got the UK out. What do you think? Share your thoughts on these topics and more in the comments. The large loss of seats and decline in popularity of Green parties in the EU elections this week shows the problems of their policies and negative approach. Too often, they are advocating for a decline in living standards, as food becomes more expensive for example, and telling people to stop doing things like flying, as well as having anti-science opposition to nuclear power and GMOs. The childish and futile actions of Just Stop Oil and their like add to this negative perception of environmentalists having no realistic solutions. We need a more optimistic vision of decoupling economic growth from environmental harms. We need an eco-modernist approach advocating for more nuclear power and for GMOs. Nuclear power can provide the plentiful clean, safe and reliable energy we need while tackling climate change. GMOs, with higher yields and less need for pesticide, can help feed a growing population while using less land and so allowing more of it to be returned to nature. They can also help mitigate climate change as well as adapt quickly to a warming climate. This provides a positive vision for the future and not the doomerism we so often hear from environmentalists. Mark Dawes, London. Let us know what you think. Start a text with views followed by your comment, name and where you live to 65700. Standard network charge applies. Or email mail@ukmetro.co, UK helpline for views, rush hour crush and good deed feed, 020-3615-0600. Remember, you are more likely to be published if you provide your name and location with your full TCS here. usnews.co.uk is a member of the Independent Press Standards Organisation. Comments may be edited for reasons of legality, clarity, or space. To view this video, please enable JavaScript and consider upgrading to a web browser that supports HTML5 video. The disgusting vandalism of the King's portrait by animal rights activists from Animal Rising, US News, WED, just reinforces to people that they would never want to be associated with vegans if this is what they are all like. Simon Densley, Wood Green. As Europe is starting to elect far-right parties, such as Marine Le Pen's National Rally, isn't it time that hardcore Remainers thanked Brexiteers for removing Britain from the EU? David, Durham. The obsession with home ownership continues and I'm hearing nothing from the major parties about the rental market. We need a change of emphasis, with vastly increased availability of rental properties and dramatic rent reduction. Think of the advantages, easier and quicker to move if work dictates, or to a smaller or larger property as the size of one's family increases or decreases. Also, there is nothing promised regarding public transport other than getting us to London more quickly. I would like to visit places like Clitheroe sometimes, also Bakewell, places only about 40 miles from Huddersfield but which take quite some time to reach by train or bus. Please start thinking east to west rather than north to south. Another concern is rail fares. Unless you get a special offer by booking some time in advance, a trip of any distance generally costs approximately 3 times as much as going by car. This is doing nothing to deter people from using their cars. It's as if cars are for people who can't afford public transport. How does that help the environment? If you can find me a party that will address the above, I may consider voting. Jean, Huddersfield. Yes, the Tories have been a long, long way from perfect and Boris Johnson was, at times, a shambles, but Rishi Sunak can only but try to get things back on track. Maybe he deserves that chance. If you don't feel that way, maybe you need to look at an alternative party to Labour, who will spend the next few years giving us all the excuses about why they cannot fix what the Tories have messed up in the past 13 years or so. They will use that excuse